Hi there, welcome back to the Wellwood Homes Master Builder YouTube channel. My name's Trevor and this is Andrew Wellwood. He's the owner and founder of Wellwood Homes, and he is a master builder.
Yeah.
He's got that designation. It's pretty awesome. And today our topic is Infill Homes Edmonton, keeping the build on schedule. Keeping the build on schedule. Very, very important.
Very important.
Saves you time and money. We're going to talk about all of that today. So Atul Gawande, author of the Checklist Manifesto, says good checklists, on the other hand, are precise. They are efficient, to the point, and easy to use, even if in the most difficult situations. They do not try to spell out everything. A checklist cannot fly a plane. Instead, they provide reminders of only the most critical and important steps, the ones that even the highly skilled professional using them could miss. Good checklists are, above all, practical. We're probably going to talk about checklists today, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it'll come up a couple times, I think.
So, statistic for you: construction workers install, repair, or renovate work worth $239 billion annually. So, it's a big, big industry that we're talking about.
Yes.
All right, Andrew, first question for you. Why is it so important to have a construction schedule?
Well, if you don't have a schedule on when you want things done, you're never going to get anything done.
What?
So,
What do you mean?
Yeah, so if you don't write down, when you're going to schedule the drywaller, you're never going to have a drywaller show up to site.
Yeah.
So if you don't schedule it, it's not going to happen. That's
It goes back to
cut and dry.
Yeah, it goes back to what gets scheduled gets done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. And it helps other people become accountable to that schedule as well. You can hold them to account. Say, you have to be done by this date, or this guy can't work, so move it.
That's also, I don't know, probably in your list of questions for
Probably.
today, but that's why it's important to share your schedule with the people you're scheduling. You tell them, I've got you booked in 3 weeks to do your job, and I give you a 2-week window. Very important to tell the trades that, because if that doesn't work for them, you've got time to alter your schedule ahead of time, as opposed to just watching them show up and go, be out of here in 2 weeks, right? Because the next guy's coming in.
Yeah, well, people work better on a deadline. I found in construction, give them a deadline, they will work their butts off to get it done.
People seem to take as much time as you give them to get the job done.
That's right. So it's always 2 days less than they think. All right. So how do builds usually turn out when there is no schedule to adhere to?
There's one by my place, and he put the basement in. 4 years ago?
4 years ago?
4 years ago, yeah. And
wow.
He is 3/4 of the way done siding on the outside. And I drove by actually last night, and he's got a light on in the basement because it's a walkout. There's still open studs in the basement. So.
Wow.
So yeah, how long can a build possibly go on? This one's going on 4 years and counting, and I'll let you know when it's done.
He's probably one of those guys that figures he could save money by doing it himself.
He's doing it himself. Every once in a while I see another guy there, and
yeah, that's how things go when you think you can save money by doing it all yourself.
When you see some driving around jobs that just look like they've been sitting forever, and that's, either they ran out of money or they didn't schedule ahead of time, and they're now stuck trying to find their next trade.
Yeah, and they're messed up.
Yep.
Now, how often should you review the schedule to make sure that you're staying on task?
I review the schedule daily when I'm on my builds, just so I know what's coming up, what's scheduled, to make sure the next guy has enough notice, and the same thing that I communicate with the next trade.
Yeah.
Just you talk to the plumber. When are you going to be done? When can I bring my electrician in? Like, how are you still on track to be done Friday? Next guy's starting Monday. Is this still working good for you? Oh yeah, it's good. Perfect. You call the other guy. Yeah. You still good for Monday? We'll have the site ready for you. Yeah, I'm still good Monday. So as a builder, that's a large majority of your job, is keeping and maintaining a schedule, and then making sure everyone's on that schedule, and then altering your schedule when things happen. You get freezing rain and your roofer's not working.
Yeah.
It's understandable. It adjusts your schedule. You just have to go with it. Adjust the schedule, inform the trades, keep the build going.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, how often should you meet with your subtrades to go over the schedule?
That's dependent on the subtrade. Some subtrades that I work with are extremely professional. I'll call them and say, you know what, I need you this day. I'll give them 3 weeks notice.
Yeah.
And in 3 weeks, they're showing up. No questions asked. I'll follow up with them. Like, yeah, of course, we'll be ready. We'll be ready. We'll be ready. And they're always there. So I don't need to go over the schedule with them that often. I do maybe not harass them. I probably bug them a little more because their response is, yes, we have you scheduled for this Monday. We will be there this Monday. Basically stop calling me and reminding me I know how to read a calendar. And then you get the other guys that don't know how to read the calendar. Be good for next Tuesday, Yep. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're delayed. We're delayed a couple weeks. You didn't know that yesterday?
Is that this Tuesday?
Yeah, you didn't know that yesterday? You didn't know you still had 2 weeks worth of work to do on your last job? Those ones make it really difficult to schedule. I try and weed those ones out so I don't have to work with them again, because those kind of delays cost the homeowner money, they cost me money, they tick off every trade I've got scheduled after.
Yeah.
And then it makes me look like a real asshole for pushing the guy in front of him to get him done. You got to get done because I need this house to sit vacant for a week.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
I need the homeless to start moving in.
Yeah, work the weekend so that I can have nobody here all week. Yeah, so I try to weed those ones out and not work with them anymore. I'm really picky on a schedule, and I like to keep my schedule, so that is a big deal breaker for me. So yeah, as to how often you go over the schedule, depends on the trades you're working with.
All right. Now, how do you deal with a sub-trade that just won't follow the schedule? I think we mentioned it before.
Yeah, I try and weed them out ahead of time.
Yeah.
Once they're in there, and you just gotta sort of hold their hand with one hand and beat them with a stick with the other hand. It's sort of, you gotta find the happy medium of, what can I do to get you to do your job? What do you need from me so that you can do your job?
Yeah.
That's how I start the conversation. Is it my scope of work to make sure they have, pencils or, some of the stuff that they ask for just would blow your mind. But is it my requirement? No. Am I supposed to go pick them up their lumber because they're delivery companies, or their pick lumber material because their delivery companies behind? No, it's not my requirement. I go and do it just to keep the job going. All in my head, all in the back of my head, thinking, they're almost done. Don't have to work with them anymore. Almost done.
Don't have to do this again.
So that's how I start, and then, once holding their hand stops, then you break out the stick. And that's just the way it goes, yeah.
Sounds worse than it is, but it's basically...
Start with the carrot, end with the stick.
There we go. There's the carrot and here's the stick, and we never want to work with you again. Thanks. Though.
Yeah.
So the next one, do you share your schedule with your clients?
Yes.
Awesome.
I feel they should know that. My belief is you're spending $500,000 on a house or more, more than likely. You can probably get them for a little bit less, but that's a lot of money. I would want to know everything that's going on. I would want to be able to be there on certain days. I would want to know what's going on. How long is it going to take? What's going, where's the schedule happening? Yes, I absolutely think a client should be kept in the loop of that. They should know when they're driving by, oh, Andrew said the electricians are starting today, and they look in and see the electricians. They don't have to get out of their car. They don't have to go walk through and chat with the electricians. Yeah. I usually encourage them not to, because then we get more miscommunication than anything. Right. But yeah, no, I believe they should know what's going on. It's their house. It's their money. It's their investment. They should definitely know what's going on.
And that's not normally the case. When someone is getting a house built, they're usually not allowed to show up at all.
No, they get a 45-day heads up as to when they can move in.
Yeah, and that's it.
But they don't know who's doing what when they swing by the house.
Don't get to see all the garbage that's left in the walls and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The Tim Hortons insulation.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next question. Why is it so valuable to use checklists on a building project?
Everybody everybody forgets stuff. Like you might have the most amazing memory and been doing this for decades, but a checklist makes sure you didn't miss the small things, like stuff that you were, either taking for granted or you haven't done in a while. If you're doing an infill with a front attached, you've always done infills with rear detached garages.
Yeah.
Just a checklist just to refresh your mind on that. Just, if you're doing a multifamily, you haven't done multifamily in a while. Like it's great just to have that. And you know what? Reading through a checklist, checking stuff off, it's fast and easy.
Yeah.
And then you can look back and go, and I write on my checklist when I've got things scheduled, who I talk to, when I talk to them, so that, if it ever comes up and the roofer goes, you never gave me any notice, I didn't know. And I say, yeah, no, look, I got right here. Like I called you Friday saying we're going to be about a week out. Then I sent you an email Tuesday. Your guys were on site this day. Like I can go back and I can go through my checklist with my notes, and it's basically a roadmap for how the build went. And then, as a builder, I can go through that checklist and see ways that I can improve on the next one. I can answer any question anyone had on what happened. What happened November 4th, 2015 on your build. I can go through my checklist and my notes, and I can say, yeah, I was on site this time, your electrician was here, sent out 3 email, and I can just go through and check, and I check to make sure final grade was spray painted on the foundation.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you is, do you make checklists for subtrades? Is that something you do?
I make checklists on things that I'm going to inspect for my subtrades. I would make one for a subtrade, or I would definitely share that list with a subtrade if they wanted it, if they asked for it. Like I've got a checklist for what I go through when I do a framing inspection.
Yeah.
And I feel that's the best way to give. First off, you should give that to the framer before they start. They should know what you're expecting from them.
What you're looking for.
Before they start. It's and I know this from when I was framing, it's nasty when you complete the job and the builder comes up and they've got this 4-page checklist and you're like, if you give that to me, like, we'll go through and do it all before you waste your time walking through. And then they go through and they're like, oh, there's no backing for the doorstop. Doorstop sits on baseboard. Do you want backing there? Oh yeah, we need backing on every baseboard. And then you get this house full of red marks and a big list of what they're calling deficiencies, which aren't. And it's not a great way to build a relationship with a subtrade, is to go through at the end of their job with some surprise checklist that they're not aware of. So anything that I'm going to inspect, I make sure they know before they start the project, so that it's not a shock to them when I come up and say, look, we're putting vinyl tile on this basement floor. It needs to be absolutely perfect. I told you about that. It sent in an email, talked to you before you poured. What are we going to do? We can't, can't work with this. And, then the whole, I thought you guys were just going to put a really thick underlay on a carpet down excuse. Just sounds like they're retarded.
No, that's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly. So, give them the checklist that you're going to inspect on ahead of time.
All right. Now, this is probably obvious, but do you recommend that they make their own checklist?
Yeah.
They should.
Advising subtrades on how to run their company will get you some really interesting looks. They really, really love to be told how to do their job. It definitely doesn't show up on the bill.
Yeah. But the pros will make a list anyway.
The pros will have a list, yeah. The pros will have a list, and a lot of times they won't even inform you. They'll go through, they'll do the inspection. Some of them will leave the checklist on site so that you can see what their inspector went through and checked for. Other ones, they just do an internal one. The companies that have been around for a long time have their own checklist. Yeah. The successful companies have their own checklist. Kind of makes you, wonder if it's connected.
I wonder if this is something I should incorporate in my business.
I subtly recommend it to the subtrades, but trying to tell someone how to do their own job is
even setting up a remaining to be done list. That's fine. Just do something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, do you have any strict penalties for subtrades that delay turnover of a project?
No, and that's the same. I find that's on the same same line of questioning as back charges.
Mm.
Once you start nickel and diming, nobody wins. It's like a lawsuit. The lawyers win. Nobody wins going back and forth. If I charge a sub trade, $200 because they delayed my move in, you know what? The next job, if they show up on site and I don't have the sidewalk shoveled, they're like, you know what? We're not working today. Here's a $250 back charge for wasting our trip charge, and it delays my job, and it just, or they come in and the plumber's got his plumbing stuff stacked in the way of the electrician. They're like, you know what? Here's a $50 charge for me having to move your plumbing out of the way, and then the plumber goes, yeah. Here's a $100 charge for me having to move your electrical box out of my way, and then, the builder comes in and goes, you guys are both delayed. I'm charging you both $100, and they go, yeah, we had to make a separate trip to come back here, so here's $250. And really, nobody wins, and everyone gets pissed off.
Yeah, everyone gets angry.
I don't. I haven't had a sub trade delay my project by a large amount, so, and really at that point you just can and find somebody new if it's going to be that bad.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for all your wisdom. We appreciate it, and I hope you guys got a lot out of this video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.